Welcome back to yoga with you in mind. I hope you're all doing alright. It's quite a nice day out there today, so for anybody who's out there, I hope you're staying hydrated. Today I'm going to start with the individual videos for the subsequent poses to help you delve deeper into your body, into your openings, and to help you get a little bit more comfortable into stretches before we start hitting the mat phase. The first thing I want to show you before we do the Lotus pose, which is today's one, is show you how to open up your hands a little bit more, open up the circulation. Now, a lot of people, when they wake up in the morning or after several hours of having to use their hands in a stiff position, if you're working with machinery, for example, you know, you're used to or driving a car, you're having a locked position in your hands. So what you want to do is, if you're feeling that stiffness and that tension and that horrible sore achiness that just really just drags you down, because everything you try to do, it's just a nightmare. What you want to do is just start by gently rolling your wrists in a circle, so you can go forwards and backwards. You know, just do what feels good for you, just really, and as you become more comfortable rolling your hands, don't worry if they click as well. My wrist clicks all the time. You know, it's just if it's a bad click, then you know then that's when you should stop. But once you become comfortable rolling your wrists, you want to start to flex and extend the fingers, so you're actually really stretching them out. And I know it looks really strange, but it's fun. So, you know, you want to stretch your fingers out as much as you can, and then start to wiggle them as if your fingers are dancing, so that you're really adding lots of movement into your hands to try to wake them up, get some blood circulation flowing, and to relieve that stiffness and that tension. There's the blood flow to your fingers, that's what's going to get it there. That's what's going to take away those aches. And then to stretch out your wrists a little bit further, and this is a good pre-practice for being on the mat in the future. But what you want to do is, if you take your hand and you just let it curve down. You're not pushing anything or you know, making anything happen. You're just letting it hang there for a second. And then what you want to do is just gently push the wrist down. So you're just feeling a little stretch from the elbow up your arm. You know, you don't want to feel an intense stretch when doing your wrists, because if it's intense, it's hurting for days. So, you know, if you barely feel anything, that in itself is also a good thing. So it means it gives you room to feel sensation. And then wiggle it out. And you want to push your wrist the other way. So your elbow's here. And you just push it down so that you're just gaining some more stretch here. That's where you want to be feeling it up to the palm. Don't push yourself too far. And for some people, your fingers may curl inward, so that even when you're here, because they're quite stiff, there's a lot of resistance. Your goal with this sort of stretch is just to be able to straighten your fingers. And just a little bit, day by day. And then you do the other side. So you start with the one on the other side, and just pushing it down. Trying to find a good angle that's good for you guys without the light. So you just want to push your hand down. So you're not pushing to create anything, any magnitude. It's just a gentle one from your elbow and your arm down your fingers. And then you go the other way. Just to get the stretch here in your arm. And you never push too far, you know, especially with your hands, because if you screw over your hands, then that's it. The rest of the day and subsequent days are screwed. So, you know, just be gentle. Let them wake up according to their own tune. Oh, there's people walking outside. So that is your wrist stretch. It's just to warm up a little bit. From here, we're going to go into being comfortable in Lotus pose, which is comfortable seated position. If you're feeling ready to separate yourself from the wall, if you're feeling ready to try practicing without the wall to keep your back straight, if you're ready for this, then absolutely go for it. If you're seeing this just to check it out what it is, I wouldn't recommend continuing with into this phase just yet. You know, keep practicing with your back against the wall, straightening and feeling comfortable as every little piece of you opens up. Otherwise, coming into this phase right now may push you a little bit too far too soon. You know, so you just listen to your body and know your own limits. That's the most important thing, just to know your own limits and respect that. You know, because you won't come past them if you push too far. You'll just end up going back 3-4 steps. You know, take it slow, take it take it slow and take it gentle. So this is the lotus pose. How I've achieved this is by starting my legs here. Make sure your back is comfortable, because you're going to end that your butt is comfortable. So you want to move your butt cheeks out of the way to give you some stability. The mattress is going to make you a little bit wobbly on the bed to do some forward folds, but you've got to find your balance and your core and your niche. So what you want to do, stretch your legs out in front of you. If they're still bent and they're up here, that's fine, because we're not going to be straightening the legs today. We're going to be trying to move into a different knee bendy position. Now the first thing you want to do for a cross-legged position is to take, let's just say, your left foot, bring it in. Now test where your knee is actually able to go. See, I've been practicing for a long time, so I can bring my foot straight into my groin. But what you might be up here, and it might be quite high up. One of the good things about using the mattress is that it takes a lot of that, it fills in a lot of that gap for you, so that it's designed for you to comfort into, to dissolve into your mattress. So if your leg is just up here, that's fine. And what you want to do is take one of your pillows from your bed. If it's quite a thick one, you won't need to fold it in half, but mine are fairly thin. So there, you are nice and supported, so that you're gently letting gravity open up your leg, but you are supported with a pillow, so that you aren't straining and you aren't using your back muscle to keep it all up where it needs to be. And then you want to do the same thing with the other side. So if you're just up here with your knees, then this is where you need to be. See, I'm going to lift my ankles up so you can see a bit more. But if you've got quite high knees coming up quite high up your hips, and if you've got quite stiff knees, this might be really uncomfortable for you. So what you want to do is just come back to it every now and again. You know, if you've got a strain in your knee, just, you know, don't force it. It will happen over time. But if you're able to continue and see if your ankles are crossed over like this, and this will help you stabilize yourself into a seated position. It's good to start these things in bed if you've never done yoga before, because getting comfortable here will allow you to get to that confidence to take it onto the floor. Because when you're on the floor, there's no comfort. You know, you find comfort in your poses, but generally the floor itself can be a bit bony. You know, but that's how you progress with your stability and your balance and your strength. But just to open up to begin with, you want to stay here. Now if you roll your shoulders back so that they're away from your ears. Now if you're starting to feel any tension in your lower spine from trying to keep it up straight, then you want to tense your tummy. Now this might feel a little bit awkward on your tummy muscles because you're in a seated position. You just want to play with it and figure out where those muscles are and how you can utilize them right now. Another thing to remember as well is that doing the lotus position in bed means that the mattress sinks down to accommodate you. So you have to be careful that if it's causing you to feel too much discomfort in your lower spine, then you need to come out of it. You know, this is just to practice. Now, if you can cross your legs a little bit closer together, you can arrange the pillows differently in order to find your comfort and basically find your G-spot in yoga. That's basically what yoga's about. Every pose that you come across that's new, that's an obstacle, it's all about finding your G-spot in that pose so that you can progress past it. So I can bring both my legs in. And it's hard not to go back to it, to be fair. Once you can do it, it's hard to re-mimic the place where you couldn't do it before. But I'll do my best. So other people might be able to cross over a bit more with their knees, but still have them quite high up. So what you want to do is the same thing. So you get pillows to support your knees, or you can take another pillow that's a bit smaller and just bring it underneath your butt. You're gonna find that you might lose your balance a little. You want to find your stability. You know, remember that you are on the bed, and that you don't want to be in a position where you might topple or really hurt yourself. You know, you be quite mindful when it comes to doing these poses in bed. You know, if you've got a mattress on the floor, you'll be fine. So if your knees, with the pillow, it gives you height and it adds cushion to your lower spine. So if you're finding that if you just did the previous one with the pillows underneath you and no pillow under your bottom, see if this actually works better for you. You know, so just see what fits your body. With the fact that you've got the pillow now there, you'll be able to find that your knees can open and fall to the bed much easier. So I'll do the same thing that I did previously. So to get into the lotus position, you want to take the one foot, bend the knee, and find where you are. You might be here, you might be here. Okay, if you can really bend the knee towards you and bring it to your groin so that your foot is nicely aligned with your leg, and see if that works for you. This is the ultimate place to get to in a lotus position, because it means that that's where your knee has become the most flexible and has most endurance. So if you're up here and you still need to get there, and we can take it there. We can take it slow. Now what we're going to do from here is actually hold the lotus position for several minutes. See, for this version, the second time round, I've got the pillow underneath my butt as well. So it's giving me much more stability, and it's taking that pressure off of my spine. So from here, keep lengthening up. It's not like somebody's pulling you up from the crown of your head with a string. You know, take care to watch your back. Tense your tummy. Take a deep breath in. And from here, you can do whatever you want with your hands. You can bring them onto the pillows to rest next to you. You can bring them onto your knees to just help keep creating that pressure. And the longer you stay here, and as you start to fidget, it will be where your body's telling you you can adjust and sink into it a little bit more. And always remind yourself, so when you start to slouch, remind yourself to come back up. Take a deep breath in. Drop your shoulders away from your ears and keep lengthening that spine. Feel the openings in your belly. And if you feel comfortable to let down a layer of one of your pillows, do so gently, and see if your knee's comfortable going down a little bit more. And adjust your feet. Now, you might still be a little bit higher if you're scrunched together. You might need to just keep repositioning yourself. You know your body, you know your length. So you know where you can be here. It's going to be comfortable for you. And that's why it's called the lotus, because you look like a lotus. My apologies, I think that was my tummy. Breathe in. Now you don't want to be holding any tension in your spine whilst you're in this position. the lengthening and staying here itself can be very grueling, very draining on your energy. So if you've got a hold on your spine, let go of it. Just breathe. This is all really strengthening, and lotus position is actually the best way to sort out your posture and your back. You know, if you've had a very awkward posture before, you know, that's very uncomfortable for you, this is a very good way of contrasting what's been done to the body. You know, there's no saying that it's any less, you know, it can be uncomfortable, especially when we hold them for so long. As long as we breathe and we push oxygen with our exhale into our bodies where it needs it, and you know where you need it, just send it there. Take a deep breath in and send it to where you need it to go. Now if you're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable and releasing into the bed a little bit more and you want to take it a step further, this is the time to do so. Just roll out your shoulders, give your neck a roll, and just circulate your spine. And what I mean by that is, if you feel comfortable to check your range of motion, to check where your flexibility currently is in your midriff, and what you do from here is lengthen up, have a light tensing of your belly. You don't want to really tense, you just very lightly engage your tummy. And then from here, bring your chest first towards one knee and then the other. They don't have to touch. And then gently lean back so that you're engaging your spine. If you feel a click in there, or yeah, then that's not so bad. As long as it's a good click. But, you know, but this is all just to get range. So once you start to feel a little bit more comfortable with this motion, really play with it. You know, so move your belly, move your ribs, feel them separated. So feel where your midriff is, even though it's connected to your legs, it's its own separate entity. It's a different part in the machine. And it's independent if it wants to be. Bring your arms up to the sky. Take a breath in. And just allow yourself to stay here just a second. Just to really feel where you've opened up your back. And exhale. Bring your hand in front of your heart. Have a little shake out. See if that feels good for you. And if you're feeling good and ready, then we'll move on to the next stage of the hip opening. See, even though we're doing a lot of work for our spines, we're sorry, trying to get that away from me. So even though we're working on sorting out our posture and our spines and adding a lot more movement, we're also working on our hips, you know, and that's why we've stayed here, is to gently open out the hips. So now that we've come a bit more comfortable and ready to take it a little bit further, I'm just going to bring my legs to where I'm comfortable, because it's for the lotus pose. Now I want you to find where you're comfortable in this cross-legged position, where you can maintain your balance, where you're not being pulled backward or pulled forward, where you are just on your sit bones and your knees are pointed down away from you. So we're creating this height in our hips that's protecting our lower spine, so that while we keep our knees open, we're not doing any damage. So find where's good for you. Find where your comfortable cross-legged position is, and stay there a little longer. Of course, if you've been ready to come out for a while, absolutely do so. See, once you change your position, As you change your posture and you revert it back to the place it used to be, then you'll find so much more confidence and structure in your body that's always been there, but now you feel it. Now you feel where you're strong, because when we can hold ourselves in these positions, even though they're on the floor or on the bed, they are challenging. You know, that medium has no effect on the challenge itself. And it just makes it even more awesome when we overcome that. When we get there and we feel better. You also might find that your hands might not quite reach your knees just yet. It happens as part of the lengthening process. So for a lot of people where their hands might be, I don't know where your hands might be, but you just might be here. It might be easier to reach your knees if you've got a little bit of height under your bottom. But if your hands aren't reaching your knees, then that's the place to get to eventually. And try to take care not to use your body to grab you to get you there, you know, so that you're not like clawing your hands into your leg to pull your arms to get there. They will get there eventually. I think there was once a time where I sat in a lotus position and my hands didn't reach my knees. I'm certain of it. It's all about the lengthening. Check in with your tummy and also remind yourself to check in with your breathing. You want it to be smooth and steady, and that you're not causing yourself any strain. And there we go. There we go. That was the first video in the breakdown of the postures. I hope this one has been helpful, and if you're finding that that you need a bit of modification to your postures, let me know. You know, because if you tell me about it, I can figure it out for you. You know, I can try and help figure out what's going to make things a little bit more comfortable and easier for you. This is a struggle with doing videos, is that even though you get to put your information out there, you don't get to see other people personally to know exactly how their bodies need. You know, it's just so I'm trusting you guys to let me know and to not let yourself be in any pain anytime ever. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and namaste.